Hey Dan, in case you haven't figured it out, when you are going to know that you're going to do command line cutting, you don't want to add your tool path to the outside of the part. You can add your lead-ins on the inside of the part, but you want to leave the outside cuts to be done with the common cut command. So these parts here, I've actually got a couple parts, or a few parts here, because I'm going to show a couple different scenarios. So I'll just go and make parts here. And I've got the auto create toolpath button turned on, and we've got toolpath on our outside. So if I end up nesting this and then doing the command line command to those, it'll end up cutting it twice. Well, it's not going to add the common cut because it's already going to see a toolpath around there, but it's going to cut around each part based on that toolpath that's on there. So you can just go ahead and delete the outside toolpaths on these. So I'll just click and get rid of those. There's also the option, if you know you're going to be doing a few parts like this, you can, when you go into your contour command, you can uncheck the external lead and it'll just put your internal leads on the part. But if it's just going to be like one or two parts, you can just leave that checked and then just do it like I did and delete it. So we'll go ahead and nest now. And nest them onto that sheet there. I've got my quantities. I checked the common cut line box using tool diameter. Go ahead. I've got the 1/4 inch gap between parts that aren't common line cuts. So I'll click on nest. So it's going to show me in red areas that it sees that might be able to do common line cutting. And I put this part in here with these notches on the end and as an example of a part that might not be great for common line cutting, because when you go to add your tool path to this, it's going to do one Pearson cut to cut this rectangular area here, and then it's going to do another Pearson cut to do the red common cut and do that again and again, which may probably end up taking longer than just cutting around the parts in their entirety. So in a scenario like that, we'll go ahead and just stop this and we'll go ahead and add our toolpath and see what it's actually going to do here. I haven't tried it yet, but that's my prediction what's going to happen. Prove me wrong. So now in here you do have the option for minimum length of common cut. So I can put in a number there, like say 2 inches or something, and then when I change that number, it's going those yellow lines are going to go away and say, all right, it's not going to common line cut there, but it will end up cutting around twice because it's going to use the basically the original, not the original toolpath, but it's going to add 2 toolpaths going around there, so that could cause some issues, parts tipping up and things like that. So water only cutting, you could do that, but for abrasive cutting, you're probably not going to want to change that here. I'll show you where you can change that in the nest settings. I'll set that back to 0. I usually use the sheet-wise option for my common cuts, and we'll click on OK, and we'll select the sheet. And if we zoom in here, so you can see here it's going to pierce and cut around. Can't quite tell where it's going to, I think it's going to, yeah, it's probably going to go all the way around, and then it's going to wrap it over and then pierce here, and then cut across to here, and then do something else. We can do a simulation, see exactly what it's going to do, but as you can see, probably not ideal. Let's see what it's going to do up there. We'll scroll down here somewhere. And go up a bit. Slow it down a little bit. So pierce goes around, in this case then goes up there, pierces. And then once it gets all those inside things done, then it'll come in and start doing these common cuts. anyways, kind of get the idea. So if you got parts like that, then when you do the nesting, there's a little box here that we can check to avoid doing common cuts in areas like that we don't want to. So down here we have this little button down here. You can click on this and you have to check this little checkbox here, but it'll look at this number here, and any common cuts that are shorter than that, then it won't apply the common cut to. So go ahead and click on OK and nest. So if we zoom on these, it'll do the common cut on those long edges, and then it'll leave whatever gap we have between the parts here, and should give us a little bit better result. So then back to OK, and back to cam, toolpath, common. Skip by all the holes, get to the good part. Somewhere down here. So what you may have seen there at the end was basically went around, did one last common cut horizontally, and then did one cut to go around all those parts there. So that's how common line cutting can work. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.